the war has started, and Trump is going to finish it. You know, with every war comes an order. And since the beginning of time, any war that started within the country, outside the country, is with an executive order. A lot of y'all don't know is that history repeats itself. And there was a time when the United States was actually at war within itself multiple times, but the biggest was the Civil War. And in layman's terms, the Civil War was basically the Confederate Democratic South versus the conservative Republican North. And majority of the war was about slavery, and the Democrats did not want it to end. They didn't want it to end. So now you have a new executive order, and we're going to get to it. Thank you for watching. Deeply disgusted. Let's get to it.
Things that we wanted, things that he wanted, and that was good. We'll be announcing that sometime later, and he'll be making an announcement too. But we had a great meeting with Turkey and their very respected president, and spent time. We had lunch, and we had a lot of good discussions. So those two things, and we have some executive orders today to sign that are very important for the country. And we'll start off with one that's a proclamation. And
yes, sir.
Want to do that, Will?
Yes, sir. So today is Gold Star Mothers and Families Day. This is an annual proclamation. This is to commemorate the fallen, those who have died for all of our freedoms and for our country, and for their families who have suffered such grievous losses. But this is a proclamation commemorating Gold Star Mothers and Gold Star families.
Yeah. Let's get that nonsense out the way. Let's get to the real nitty-gritty of what we talk about.
Million Americans who use it, while ensuring that their data is properly protected as required by law. With this executive order, you will be effectively bringing into effect the agreement that will save TikTok and ensure that it can operate safely and securely.
Okay, we're going to get to our information, but this is very important too, because I like TikTok. You know what I'm saying?
But some of those cities have World Cup games.
Yeah.
Seattle, San Francisco.
They're going to be very secure.
But could those games move if they don't cooperate with your crime push?
Well, that's an interesting, I guess,
push?
but we're going to make sure they're safe. They're run by radical left lunatics and that don't know what they're doing. Look at Washington, D.C. I just got numbers. There's like no crime in Washington, D.C. You, Jeff, will not be mugged walking down the street. You can walk down the street with your family. You can walk down your street with your wife.
Is it really true, though, y'all? Is it really no crime in Washington, D.C.? Like, no crime? Come on, Trump. It has to be, like, something going on. Somebody purse being taken. Some girl is being, like, trapped in a trunk right now. It has to be something going on. I mean, I get that there's no mass shootings of black folks, that they don't call mass shootings. Like, in an average hood, you could be on a block and a dude could come through and spray 5-6 people. But then it just hit local news. But if it's in a certain community or a certain event, that's when they call it a mass shooting. But Trump is kind of changing that. You know, a lot of conservatives, they're trying to bring awareness to that black kids in the hood matter too. They matter too. Don't y'all have Black Lives Matter? Don't y'all have Black Lives Matter? Well, do that even mean anything? Or is that like a branch of Antifa?
Your daughter, your son, and you're not going to be. We took out 1,700 career criminals that we're not allowing back. And we have this city in great shape. You know, there was a time when not long ago, when every single week you'd have at least one murder. And look what's happening with Washington. It's safe. I went to dinner in Washington.
That's not acceptable, y'all. I get it. I know the Democrats fooled y'all and they convince y'all that it's okay to have a few family members die every once in a while, and your little girl run away from home to a pimp. Them things is okay. It's okay to have 500 of y'all dying. It's good. It's a good population control, you know.
Washington, just to prove a point, I gave a press conference in the middle of a street. I wouldn't say Secret Service was thrilled, but I did it, and here I am. Look, Washington.
Yeah, Secret Services, they probably getting tired of the risk that you take, Trump. Like Trump, yo, he talks anywhere, yo. He'll go to the middle of Compton and will talk. He don't care.
Washington, D.C. is such a great example of what can be done. We did it in 12 days. We made it very safe in 12 days, and now it's much safer than that. One other thing, I drove around Washington over the weekend, and I said, look at the difference. The grass looked great. Everything looked great. You know, we had a lot of our...
The grass is green now in Washington, D.C. We got green grass. Thank you, Trump.
National Guard, and we didn't ask them to do it. They did it themselves.
I'm so tired of that brown grass that was here before, you know?
They're proud. They're great. And they were picking up paper. They were cleaning. The place looked...
I personally think that, I'm from up north, but I lived in the south, not like a land in a city like the rest of y'all. Like, I lived in Alabama in a back row country. Like, I know the South. And I'm telling you that in the South, you know what you see? And anybody that if you don't live or from Mississippi or Louisiana, you know, the real racist states of where racism originated in the United States, the Mecca, Mississippi and Alabama. If you didn't live there, you can't tell me what I'm about to say. And I'm going to tell you that when I lived in Alabama, you could not pass the highway. You could not pass the highway one day without seeing prisoners working, cleaning, digging ditches every day. Every day. And you know what? In Alabama, they don't put them in an orange jumpsuit. They got them in a black and white striped jumpsuit, the back of the old school.
Really beautiful. So we have a great Washington, D.C. We, as you probably know, we're going into Memphis and we're going into some other cities, and very soon we're going to go into Chicago.
He loved the war plane so much. He even have it on his vet. Look at his suit. You don't see the American flag and a little. I think that's on one of the night flight planes, the ones that drop the bombers. I forgot the name of them.
It will be safe for the World Cup. If I think it isn't safe, we'll move it into a different city. Absolutely. We'll take the world. If I think it's not, it's actually a very fair question. If I think it's not safe, we're going to move it out of that city. If, like the governor of Illinois, who is, look, last week.
Take it away. Take it away. I say F him. I say F him. I say take it away. Take away the ability for the city to make millions and millions of dollars, because the World Cup will bring millions. Matter of fact, I'm probably wrong with that. It probably will bring billions of dollars to the city. Billions with a B. And if you're going against the leader of the country that you represent, this man is not, going around, causing chaos, causing crime. He's trying to finish the crime. He's trying to make black people live in peace,
Between last week and the week before, 11 murders.
Black and brown, can't forget my brown folks. And that involves all, even us black folks are brown. Like, there's no such thing as a black,
And 38 people were shot. Then he gets up and says, this is a very safe. And then he says crime is better. The reason crime is better is because Cash put, about 5 months ago, a whole team of FBI people there to get ready for when we go in, and they've lowered it a little bit, like 20-25%, which isn't good enough, but it's a good start. But that was only put there because they're preparing for us to go in. And they've done, by the way, they've done a good job. So then Pritzker gets up, we've lowered crime 25, it's because the FBI was there. So
yeah, it's because of the FBI was there. It wasn't because of you, Pritzker, you fat donut eating, big belly, climbing trees and can't even get on a branch, governor.
No, if any city we think is going to be even a little bit dangerous for the World Cup
L.A.
or for the Olympics, where they have Olympic overthrow, right? But for the World Cup in particular, because they're playing in so many cities, we won't allow it to go to. We'll move it around a little bit, but I hope that's not going to happen. Yeah.
Mr. President, Director Patel.
I personally think that's fair. I think if you're a governor or mayor and you're not on board with cleaning up crime, I think it's fair that you don't get the World Cup. How about you? What y'all think?
This morning indicated that the shooter in Dallas had been using an app to track ICE. Does your administration have any plans to?
How they even allow Apple to accept applications that could track law enforcement? That within itself should be a $1 billion fine. How are you a company and you allow an app to track law enforcement?
Take down those apps or get them removed or any?
Well, I can't tell you about that, but it tells you when they want to wear masks or they want to hide a little bit, why that's so important. But these are great patriots, the ICE, and what a tough job they have. What an unbelievably tough job they have. And think of it, what are they doing? They're taking hardcore criminals out of our country and putting them back. These were largely criminals that were given to us by Joe Biden and his group of radical maniacs.
That's all that ICE is doing. I don't know what's all the uproar. All ICE is doing is trying to reverse what Biden did. How are y'all mad at a president that is trying to clean up y'all crazy neighborhoods? You can't even come outside at night and walk with your kids. Y'all actually like living like that? You actually think that's sexy? No, it's not at all. You should be living in a clean. Why the person in Hoboken family could come out at night, walk the streets, don't have to worry about nobody hitting them upside the head, and then the same family in Jersey City got to stay inside and basically crawl under a couch and make sure no bullets come through the wall. That is scary. Y'all talking about ICE is scary? Oh my gosh, they have masks, they have guns, and they have badges, and they work for the government. Oh my God. But meanwhile, in your cities, you are living in hell. Literally. Y'all are living in hell. But y'all got so used to the fire, y'all don't even feel the heat no more. Like, it don't even burn your skin. Like, y'all go in the oven and it feels like wintertime. Meanwhile, dudes like me that woke up, we go in the oven, we like, whoa, it's freaking hot as hell in here. And that's what y'all cities are. Y'all cities are hot.
To violent crime is the death penalty. As you said, your administration has taken bold, decisive steps to ensure that Washington, D.C. is once again a safe and secure city for its residents and all who visit. This is a presidential memorandum that directs your Attorney General and your U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, Judge Jeanine Pirro, to fully implement the death penalty here in Washington, D.C.
I didn't even notice that, y'all. They got Lincoln's statue on the desk. I'm going to go back to it, but I even noticed that. They got the best Republican besides Reagan on the desk. He's living through the energy. He's living through the energy, the memory of Lincoln. Remember, Lincoln was assassinated, y'all. He was a Republican that was hated because he was changing everything. He wanted to get rid of slavery. He wanted to make sure black people, he wanted to make sure e-commerce run through all states. And that he was a Trump before Trump. I think they tried to kill Lincoln multiple times. The Democratic conservative movement. Actually, I think Lincoln was actually killed by a Democrat. He was killed by a Democrat.
see where the evidence and facts of a case indicate that the death penalty should be used.
Okay? Everybody understand? Death penalty in Washington. You kill somebody, or if you kill a police officer, law enforcement officer, death penalty. And hopefully there won't be that.
My question is, how was the death penalty taken away? Like, how was the death penalty taken away in a city of high crime? Like, whose decision was that? A Democrat. A Democrat. A Democrat. And not a conservative Democrat, a liberal Democrat. Why would you take that option away from killers?
So again, it's way down. I mean, we have had week after week after week where we haven't had a murder. I said that the other day in front of the president of Poland. The press was here, and I said, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to announce that Washington, D.C. has not had a death in 4 weeks, a murder. And he looked at me.
Imagine a president that talks about this all the time. He's so proud that black people are not being killed, and Hispanic people and Indian people, whatever people. He's so happy they're not being killed every day. But then, he's the racist.
He goes, is that good or bad? You know, he said, what kind of a place is this? But it's true for years. I mean, every week, essentially, somebody got killed or more than one. And this is a very safe city right now.
Imagine every week a family member of yours, somebody in your family is getting killed every week. Imagine that. Imagine, I get in society, people have to die, people have to be poor, people have to be homeless, people have to, it's society. It's just things that we have to deal with. People make different choices in life. But just imagine you get a phone call every day and a family member died. That's basically what that is. When you have a city of 300, 400, 500 murders, even, to my opinion, even one murder is too much, man. I think when somebody commit a crime, I think it should be the biggest thing on the planet as far as a murder. I think when one murder is committed, I think FBI, I think everybody should hop on that one case, so another murder don't occur.
We don't play games. And it's interesting. We took these careers out, career criminals. They call them careers. They left the word criminal out, but we took the careers out of here. And they're now brought back to their homes, or they're in jail, or they're in a jail in another country, and hopefully they're not coming back. And we have to maintain it. You can't just leave, and we have to maintain it. We've gotten along fairly well with the mayor. She's getting a party that hates that the city's becoming safe. I mean, they're actually criticizing her because the city's becoming safe. But this is becoming a very...
Imagine that. Imagine that. You are the mayor of a democratic city of carjackings high, murders high, whole bunch of nonprofits though, tons. They making money off these black folks. They making millions off these black folks because trauma makes money. The same way you write a drama or a crime novel, you don't see crime novels sell more than any other thing. People love drama. Those nonprofits are making money off of drama. Imagine you are the mayor of that city, and you working with the president to stop the crime in your city, and crime actually stopped. Crime actually dropped. I think the number's like 90 something percent. And the people in your party are mad at you because the black folks aren't dying anymore. They're mad at you because the brown folks is not dying anymore. Who's the real racist?
This is right now a very, very safe city. This went from the most unsafe city in the country to the safest city in the country. There's no city any safer. That's a pretty big achievement. And we really did it in 12 days. But if you add an extra week to it, that'd be nice.
memorandum on countering domestic terrorism and organized political violence. In recent weeks, months, and years, we've seen a tremendous upsurge
Black Lives Matter.
in some highly visible but also other acts of domestic terrorism
Antifa.
and organized political violence being perpetrated by radical politically motivated groups all over the country. What this presidential memorandum will do is set off an administration-wide response to that, ranging from the Joint Terrorism Task Forces to other components of the Department of Justice, to the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Treasury. We're looking at interdicting these groups, preventing them from performing acts of violence, and also looking at sources of organization and funding and support that prop them up and allow them to do the acts that they have been doing.
We're looking at the funders.
War. AKA war. Yeah, you could listen to the educated lingo. But all that way he just said, that means war, y'all. That's war. Y'all groups that's out there terrorizing ICE and stopping police from fighting crime, you will now have the power of the federal government attacking you the same way they did the Black Panthers.
There's a lot of these groups, and when you see the signs, and they're all beautiful signs made professionally. These aren't your protesters that make the sign in their basement late in the evening because they really believe it. These are anarchists and agitators, professional anarchists and agitators, and they get hired by wealthy people, some of whom I know, I guess, I probably know them. And you wouldn't know it. You're at dinner with them, everything's nice, and then you find out that they funded millions of dollars to these lunatics. Steve, could you say a couple of words?
Yes, Mr. President. This is a very historic and significant day.
What he's saying is true. There are people who have access to money. They are people who actually, they're the strings. But you can't control a society without money. You see the Maxine Waters and all that stuff. Remember last time during a riot, she was in the middle of the riot safe because she's the queen of Antifa and all of them. She's the one they all look up to. Now they got AOC, and now they got that other ghetto ratchet one. Oh my God, I can't stand to even look at her.
This is the first time in American history that there is an all-of-government effort to dismantle left-wing terrorism, to dismantle Antifa, to dismantle the organizations that have been carrying out these acts of political violence and terrorism. What we have seen, if you look at whether it be going back to the riots that started with Black Lives Matter and all the way through to the Antifa riots.
Oh, you heard him? Did y'all hear him? Did y'all hear him? I'm gonna go back.
These are not lone, isolated events. This is part of an organized campaign of radical to dismantle Antifa, to dismantle the organizations that have been carrying out these acts of political violence and terrorism. What we have seen, if you look at whether it be going back to the riots that started with Black Lives Matter and all the way through to the Antifa riots, the attacks on ICE officers, the doxing campaign.
Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter, according to the federal government, not deeply disgusted, not my other channel, y'all subscribe, No Joker, but this is straight from the federal government. I've been telling y'all need to apologize to me. Remember all those videos I did on TikTok, and y'all sent me all that hate. Y'all gonna find out where I live, all because I was talking about Black Lives Matter. This was back in 2020, 19. I was talking about Black Lives Matter and how it is an anti-American group. It is a racist, radical group that they intertwine into communities to make them think that they're on their side when they're only running an agenda and running up the bag.
campaigns and now the political assassinations, these are not lone, isolated events. This is part of an organized campaign of radical left terrorism. It is structured, it is sophisticated, it is well funded, it is well planned. There is really no parallel like this to anything else in the country right now. There is an entire system of feeder organizations that provide money, resources, weapons, and when they're attacking ICE officers, they're attacking federal buildings, or they're isolating public officials for harassment, doxing, intimidation, and ultimately attempted assassination. It is all carefully planned, executed, and thought through.
Attempted assassination. They just said it on the. Did y'all just hear? Am I the only one listening? Did y'all just hear him say that these groups, they know that they're in on attempted assassination? Who had an attempted assassination? Look at him. He's right there. He's right there, President Trump.
It is terrorism on our soil. Because of this executive order, Cash and Pam are going to have the tools they need, working with Scott, to take these organizations apart piece by piece. And the central hub of that effort is going to be the Joint Terrorism Task Force, or JTTF, which sits inside the Federal Bureau of Investigation. But for those at home who are worried about terrorism in this country, they need to understand, because of President Trump's strength, because of his vision, because of his leadership, we are now going to use the entire force of the federal government to uproot these organizations root and branch. And again, that's only possible because of President Trump and his leadership.
Thank you. Steve Cash, please.
Yes, as Steve was saying, Mr. President, thanks to your leadership, crime is going downward in a tremendous fashion, and that's what we want for every city in America. And the FBI's premier flagship enterprise, the Joint Terror...
Look at my brown brother up there. Look at my brown brother. You see, y'all got it mixed up, see? Y'all trying to cause separation with brown and black. Well, what's the difference between my skin color and his? What's the difference between a woman who called themselves black and pale and light skinned as hell and him? What's the difference? So the light skinned girl is black and he's brown? Tell me if that make any sense.
Terrorism Task Force are honored to lead this...
I'm sorry off the topic, but this is the Deeply Disgusted Show.
Initiative with our partners at Treasury and Homeland Security, because our citizens are being attacked by, as Stephen said, organized violence, and it's being paid for, not by them, by other people. So what we are going to do, combining forces as Scott and I have done in these last few months, is follow the money. People and organizations have collected funds and put them out into the streets of America and organized violence across our country. And thanks to your recognition of this and this executive order.
That's a fact. That's a fact. There are people who are spreading millions and millions of dollars, and you know how they moving it? Do you know how they moving these money? They moving it through nonprofits, all type of organizations. That's why it's very hard to trace, because when you have a millionaire that donates to a nonprofit, it looks like he's donating to the nonprofit, Black Lives Matter, but he's actually funding chaos. And a lot of times, those big donators, they know that. They want their money to be put for good use, because they know if they could swing an election in their favor, whatever business they in, whatever situation they in, they could continue to make millions and millions and millions of dollars. So causing chaos, causing people to think like, oh, police is against us. They're not trying to clean up our communities. They're trying to kill us. If you can make a bunch of low IQ people think that the police is trying to kill them, man, listen, you're dangerous. You're dangerous.
And the AG's leadership to lead out and prosecute these individuals. We are properly going to chase them down like the domestic terrorists that they are, and our streets and our communities are going to be safer because the JTTF and the FBI and Treasury and DHS and DOJ are going to combine forces like never before to root out this new evil that is perpetrating our criminal activities across our societies. And we are just so thankful for your leadership and recognition of it. It's not easy to do.
Good.
They are evil. They are We're against evil forces. This is worse. This is worse. Worse than Ghostbusters. This is worse than Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters was fighting an evil that was so evil. I mean, it was like green juice everywhere and everything in that movie, but this is worse. Antifa, Black Lives Matter, the whole Democratic movement is worse than Ghostbusters. I get scared watching the news, watching Antifa and Black Lives Matter more than I do Ghostbusters. What do that tell you? Shit is getting real. Y'all stay safe out there.